This is Larry Henares making your day with part 48 of a book I wrote on Philippine history. Subject, Our EDSA 1 Changed the World. And I continue to quote, this is what Cocoy Romualdez answered the Americans during the negotiation on the basis agreement. He said, yes, we know all your arguments, but let us talk of something else. Let us talk of herpes, of gonorrhea, of syphilis, of AIDS. Let us talk of crimes against Filipinos in the bases, of women and children abandoned by boyfriends, husbands and fathers. Let us talk of PX goods smuggled into the economy to compete tax-free with locally manufactured products. Let us talk of nightclubs and hospitality girls, of heroin and cocaine and marijuana, and all the other dangers to the morals of our youth. In other words, Mr. Ambassador Armacos, let us talk of the social cost of maintaining those bases. Witnesses say that Armacos did a backflip and fell off his chair. Never in his experience had he ever heard such arguments before, and from a lowly Filipino at that. He was expecting the usual hula-baloo about sovereignty and territorial integrity, but to be accused of spreading herpes and venereal diseases? After a few days of this, duly leaked out to the newspapers to the delight of the cognoscenti, Ambassador Armacos of the United States capitulated. President Marcos instructed Cocoy to demand $500 million for the bases. Instead, Cocoy got $900 million out of Armacos. Shortly afterwards, Armacos was replaced. Curses foiled again, screamed Rudolph Rasendale as Hairbreadth Harry triumphed once more. A businessman who descended from Lim Ahong, who looks suspiciously like Victor Lim, said it all in a nutshell. We don't need a goody-goody to represent us in the bargaining table. What we need is a rascal to contend with the damned rascals on the other side. To which we add, amen. Before he finished his second term, President Marcos was able to let the Langley Agreement and the Parity Amendment lapse and deny the Americans the vested right to continue enjoying their extraterritorial rights ad nauseam. More about this after these messages. This is Larry Henares making your day with part 48 of a book I wrote on Philippine history. Subject, Our EDSA 1 Changed the World. My dear friends, during World War II, during the Japanese occupation, and on the eve of the Philippine independence from the United States, there were only 13 democracies in the whole world. By early 1970s, there were 44 democracies in the world, and the Philippines under Marcos was not any one of them. Many newly independent former colonies and emerging communist regimes became authoritarian and outnumbered the democracies 66 to 44. Then, EDSA 1 revolution happened to topple the U.S.-sanctioned martial law regime of dictator Ferdinand Marcos in February 1986. The cable news network, or CNN, came into being, and satellite communications became commonplace. For the first time in history, one mass movement riveted the attention of the world, hour by hour, for 4 unforgettable days on satellite television, the world over. People watched the events unfold in the Philippines as they happened, with the Filipino message to its own people and to the entire world that a peaceful revolution to end armed authoritarian rule is possible if the people are united and determined, that the human spirit is unconquerable, resilient, and potent against the forces that seek to destroy us. Why not us? As the Poles, the East Germans, the Czechs, the Romanians, and others. And in the wake of EDSA 45 countries, or 1/3 of the countries on this earth, decided to transform their political systems. From 44 democracies in the 1970s, by 1991, the number doubled to 89 democracies. Probably the greatest expansion of freedom in history. And for the first time, democracies outnumbered authoritarian regimes 2-1. Every year we celebrate the anniversary of the EDSA revolution and its impact on the rest of the world. First, EDSA in 1986 inspired and accelerated the fall of the communist world through people power in Eastern Europe. In the Hungary elections in 1988, in Poland in 1990, the electoral victory of Lech Walesa against the communists. In East Germany, the crumbling of the Berlin Wall in 1989, and the reunification of the journalists in 1990. In Czechoslovakia in 1989, Václav Havel becomes president of a multi-party Congress. In Romania, in 1989, Ceausescu's communist government is overthrown. In 1990, Yeltsin is elected president of Russia. In 1991, the Soviet Union was dissolved, all of them after our EDSA revolution of 1986. More tomorrow, my dear friends. This is Larry Henares, making your day, saying good day, God bless you. Thank you very much for being with us. Till next time, hasta la bye-bye.